Hey everybody, it's Donna, and I am here today to take you through a lovely yin practice. So yin yoga is slower yoga. There's going to be longer holds involved. We'll probably get you into a couple of uncomfortable positions and then ask you to sit there for a little while. Feel free to, always listen to your body, right? And I highly encourage, if you have a bolster or a pillow or a sleeping bag that's all rolled up, those will all work for props in this practice, okay? So if you want to go and find something to help support your body, please go and do that, and then join me on the mat. We're going to begin our practice in a seated position. Right? If you'd like to lift the hips by sitting on your prop. Got a squeaky mat this morning. Feel free to do that. Allowing the eyes to turn down and the gaze to soften. Resting the hands upon the thighs. Maybe palm up, maybe palm down. Seeing which one feels better for you today. Inhale and exhale. Begin to tune into yourself, your own experience. Noticing the mind, the body, the breath. And sending loving kindness to yourself. Knowing that of all the people in the world who deserve your love and attention, you are. Embracing that radical act of self-care. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, it can simply be one of honoring and of respecting where you're at, or something else that resonates with you and inspires you. Inhaling and exhaling. Do one more deep cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhaling on a sigh. Lovely. All right. So we're going to come to crisscross with a forward fold. Okay. So with the forward fold, feel free, if you'd rather stay on your bolster, you can. I like to come down a little bit and bring my bolster in front, especially to start. You can rest it on your thighs if that works, or bring it out in front of you. And you're just going to begin to ease in. Oh, just let that low back open. If you'd like, you can bend your elbows and cup your forehead. I always really like that version of supporting the head with the hands. Very soothing and calming. Just settle in, make any adjustments that you feel are appropriate. And then finding the breath, the inhalation and the exhalation. Begin to inquire into what you could possibly soften. Maybe you can soften across the forehead, underneath the hand. Or maybe the low back begins to ease, or the hips. And as you ease, make any adjustments. You feel fully supported. Three more deep breaths here. Last breath. And then ease out. Take your time. And then what you'll want to do is take the inside foot to the outside. Okay? So we always will sit down crisscross with our dominant leg in front. And so now this will readjust the hips and create a different stretch. And once again, inhale here and exhale. Ease in. Softening. And wherever you need your prop, put the prop, right? Or get rid of it all together. Once again, supporting the head in any fashion that feels right for you. And go on that softening exploration. Gently inviting the body to let go. Releasing tension. Using the breath. And in these long holds, you will find that the pose unfurls, and that the longer you hold, the deeper you go. And that is the magic of Yin Yoga. Getting into the connective tissue, and just allowing the body to open at its own time and pace. Three more deep breaths. Last breath here. And then slowly begin to come out. That's it. All right, take your legs out. Give them a bit of a shake. So you will also notice that today's practice is awesome for your hips. All right. In your own time, in your own way, come onto all fours. Let's move this a little bit out of the way. There we go. And here on all fours, let's just do a little bit of gentle movement. You can rock forward and back a few times. I like to curl my toes so that I can stretch through the arches of my feet. That'll help keep my back body nice and supple. And then you might throw in a little bit of cat-cow through the spine. Fabulous. All right. And bringing one leg forward. All right. So one foot's going to come forward. And again, feel free to have your props handy to help support you. And I like to actually go off to the side a little bit. So I walk my foot wider to the edge of my mat. And I might even take my torso off to the side. So it's kind of like they're forming a V. If I did that coming straight onto you, my foot goes wider and this goes over here. So it looks more, right, like a V with the knee, the bottom of the V, and those going up that way, okay? And that gives you space within the hip joint, okay? So feel free to hang out here if you want any support underneath the knee. Please place it there. All right. And you're just gonna come down, maybe not, right? Maybe this is plenty for you, or one elbow or two elbows. Hanging out. Deep stretch into this hip flexor, right? And into the crease, the flexion of the bent leg, that forward leg. Okay, so we're working on extension and flexion of the hips here. As always, in any way, if you can support the head, that will help to relieve tension in the neck and the shoulders. And do 2 more deep breaths here. Big exhales, feel free to let it go nice and slow. You can even purse the lips, which is a relaxation technique. Lengthen the exhale. And slowly come up. Oh yeah. You might want to go back into a runner's stretch. Okay. Ease in and ease out if you'd like. Eventually returning to all fours. If you want to throw in a downward facing dog or some other movement, sink back into child's pose. Open up, oh yes. But eventually, your other foot is going to come forward using any props. And again, walking the foot wide, so that gives you more space in the hip joint. Props off to the side or wherever is great for you. Right. Ease in a little bit, and then eventually, potentially, you might come down. Okay? You do you into this dragon pose. And breathe. And there is a saying in yoga that the pose begins when you want it to end. So Yin Yoga is the perfect example of that saying is that the mental work of yoga truly begins when your body is kind of going, I'm done. Can you please move? And then can you stay with it for another breath and another breath and another breath. 2 more breaths. Those nice long exhales. Once again, as you begin to come out, do it slowly. Oh, yes. Right? Finding some gentle movement. I feel like doing a little side to side action, right? And you just really need to listen to your body. That skill of interoception, of internal listening, is your best friend in a Yin Yoga class. All right. So we're going to get even deeper into these hips now by coming into pigeon pose. Okay. So in Yin Yoga, it's referred to as sleeping swan. So feel free to curl the toes, lift up, into down dog. That feels good in the calves. And we're going to bring one knee forward. Okay. So this is kind of where we're going again, using props, if you would like, to support yourself. Okay. Now, for some people, this doesn't work, right? Being face down. And if you're one of those people that their hips, their knees, their back isn't happy in a face down pigeon, you can always do a face up pigeon, okay? Which is often called thread the needle, right? So you can be here crossing one ankle over a knee and bringing it into the body. So we're looking for a stretch in that forward knee hip, okay? So in this piriformis muscle. And you can get into this muscle any number of ways. I like to hold onto my shin, right? And then I'm getting all the goodness of the other one, the face down one. And I actually have a little bit more freedom here to go explore the hip joint because I don't have the weight going down on it, but I can bring it into my body. Just check in with your neck, your throat, your forehead. See what's going on there, and if it can be a little bit easier. Notice the shoulders and the shoulder blades, if they can be spacious. Three more breaths. Maybe some gentle movement as you think about coming out of the pose. Just kind of go and explore. So if you're doing the face down version, you may want to step back
fours or to downward facing dog at this point. Oh, and if you're on the ground, bring both knees up, in, rock a little bit, roll a little bit. If you kept both legs bent, maybe take a moment and stretch long. Thinking about opposites, right? When you've been in a position for a long time, you want to do the opposite, create the opposite shape. All right, and when you're ready, you're going to set up with the second leg, okay? So if you're doing on hands and knees, then the other knee comes forward and you kind of settle in and lower down. If you're doing this on the back version, oh, there it is. Sorry. You got to get into that hip. I've been running lately. I thought that would be a good idea. I know all about it. Okay, so settling in, finding, oh yes, finding your pose where you're going to want to stay for a little while. Okay, once again, check in, head, neck, throat, shoulders. Maybe you have some gentle easing in. There it is. So you find that sweet spot that stretches so good. And then breathe. And when I'm working on my back like this, you know, sometimes you can bring your hand down if you'd like, but I actually like to use my hand as a little bit of a weight and drape it on top of the leg. Returning to the word that you picked at the beginning of class and holding it in your mind and in your heart. Two more breaths. Think about moving gently, introduce. Oh, there it is, nice. And as you come out, there's that sensation, often like a wave of sensation, that's called the rebound. And you can pause in the rebound and just let it flow, or you can gently move through it. Completely up to you. All right, and then we're going to be coming out of this pose. So once again, maybe stepping back, or if you've been laying on your back, rolling back to a seat. Okay. Our next pose is called frog pose. Okay, so for this one, you may want to give yourself a little extra cushion by folding your mat in from the sides, like such. Okay, because you're going to take your knees wide. Okay, yes. This is a big inner thigh stretch. Your feet simply go back behind you. Oh, let's grab a support. And you're going to come forward. Okay, so now you can rock forward and back, knee pops. And you will find a spot that you're going to feel a pretty good stretch. Yes? You found it? Awesome. Okay. Now, this, of all the ones that we're going to do today, this is kind of the most intense.
So approach with grace and love. Okay. I will turn this so you can see the knees wide. Yeah, there we go. And maybe you cup the forehead, or maybe you lay down. Depends on the props you have. As the thighs open, okay, make any adjustments. Ease in or ease out. Everybody is different. Let your body open in its own way. If you have your head turned to one side, please switch sides. There's an opportunity for you to find your edge. And then simply experience the edge. Ease into it. And then you begin to find the magic of these long holds. Or you could be simply cursing me that we're holding this for so long, right? 2 more breaths, folks. You got this. Last breath. All right, coming out. Slowly. Ah. Aha. Deep stretches. All right. You can return your mat to its full length. All right, and we're going to get into what many of my regular students know as my nemesis pose. This is not my favorite posture, though I know it's very good for me. And so we're just going to come into our wide angle forward fold. Okay? So wide angle is relative. Okay? This is not wide angle, but you will find yours. I'm really happy if I can get to about 90 degrees. I'm like perfect there. That's lots for me. You may want to start by bringing your fingertips to the ground behind you and lifting up in the heart. Oh yes. And then begin to roll the toes in and out. So what we're doing is we're rolling the femur heads within the hip sockets. Right? And now depending on your hips, your feet might naturally roll one way or the other. Mine roll in just a little bit, but they're pretty straight. And I know people whose feet roll way in naturally and other people whose feet roll way out naturally. Love whatever you got going on naturally, okay? It's this particular pose is not about correcting, it's about accepting with compassion, okay? I like to bring my prop, pillow, bolster, whatever I've got going on, over my legs. I know other people like to bring it in front, and then they're going to rest their forehead on the top, okay? So, however works for you. And then I'll place my elbows over And once again, cup my forehead. Making any adjustments, oh, there it is, to find your stretch. And it may feel better if you're lifted up on a blanket or something like that, and that might get that tilt. The other thing that might feel really great is to bend the knees. Oh yes, there's the hips. Okay, so when we bend the knees, you're going to get deeper into the hips, the pelvis, and the low back. With the legs straight, you're going to get deeper into the hamstrings, the back of the knees. Okay, so it's just area of the body and finding the version that feels best for you today. For me, it's legs straight as I inquire into those two options. And once again, exploring into softness, to opening, easing. Taking a deep breath in and a full breath out. Two more breaths. Last one, sigh it out. Beautiful. And slowly, coming out of your pose. Might feel good to take the knees side to side. Being soft and gentle. Fabulous. All right, people. Now I invite you to roll onto your back. As you arrive, take your legs side to side. All right, hug those knees in. Oh, feels good. Nice. So we're going to come into happy baby. So the knees go wide and the feet go toward the sky. Right? So it's a deeper stretch than here, but if here feels better, do this one. I really like to hold on to the back of my knees because then I can get some good weight and I'm respecting the spine's connection with the ground. Right? Want my neck to be long, so sometimes lifting the head up, tucking the chin and placing the head back down is a really good thing to do. Oh yeah, rocking side to side. Oh, find some lovelies. Alternatively, maybe you want to hold onto the feet or the ankles or the big toes. There's lots of places that you can connect. And for me, I know some people like to just be still here, but I like some very slow rocking. Oh. Just taking your time to explore the low back, deepen the stretch in the hips, broad across those collarbones. Settle in. All right. And now we're going to just stretch one leg straighter and then the other leg straighter.
Okay. Kind of stretching on each side. If you want to do both legs, feel free. Maybe taking those knees in circles. And then the opposite direction. That's it. Lovely. Okay. Check in with yourself. Again, cultivating interoception. See if there's any last thing that you would like to do to finish your practice. Okay? Maybe you want to do a twist. Maybe there's a stretch that you just feel would complete everything, the cherry on the top. Okay? And then we're going to come into Savasana, and I'm feeling the desire to have my prop underneath my knees, so that's what I'm going to do. You can do what feels good for you. Adjusting, taking up as much space as you'd like. Feel free to throw a blanket on top. This was not a super energetic practice, so we didn't create a lot of body heat. But boy, did we get deep into those hips and low back. Good stuff. Settling in with the inhalation and the exhalation. Taking your time. Just gently scanning mentally through your body. So if you'd like, you can start at the crown of the head, down through the forehead, across the face, the ears, the back of the head, back of the neck, the throat, across the collarbones, down the arms, all the way past the elbows, the wrists, and to the fingertips. Down the front body, over the chest, into the belly, the pelvis, tracing down the spine, all the way to the tailbone. Being aware of the hips, going down the legs, swirling around the knees, and then completely down to the ankles and out the toes. Inhaling and exhaling. Resting here. Breathing deeply. Exhaling completely. When you are ready, rolling onto your side. And then returning to an upright position. And there you go. Take a moment to pause here. Returning to where we began. Noticing, tuning in, connecting to your heart, to your body, to your mind, to the breath. May you be steady as the mountains, bendable as the trees, calm as the lakes. Namaste.